conspiring with a group of New Orleans police officers to obstruct justice by engaging in a cover-up of the true circumstances surrounding the shooting by NOPD officers of a number of individuals, resulting in 4 serious injuries and 2 deaths on the Danziger Bridge immediately following Katrina in 2005, specifically September 4, 2005. Now, today's guilty plea is a result of an investigation, a federal investigation, that we began jointly, that is, the U.S. Attorney's Office, special agents of the FBI, and the Civil Rights Division, about 1.5 years ago, after the state prosecution had terminated, had ended. Today's guilty plea, today's conviction by Mr. Loman is obviously the first action that we've taken in this investigation. Know this, the investigation continues. It is ongoing. You all, members of the press, have what I believe is a pretty detailed, factual basis that I urge you to read, to look hard at, that goes into, I think, some detail in describing the facts and circumstances surrounding the shooting, but more importantly, a pretty elaborate, ongoing conspiracy to cover up the circumstances of that shooting. Now, those circumstances, that cover-up involve a number of things that are contained in the factual basis, including the fabrication of stories that were not true, the fabrication of statements, the fabrication of a 17-page report and a follow-on 7-page report, the planting of a firearm, and also, as one of the final things, Mr. Loman lying to special agents of the FBI in May as recently as 2009. So as I said, the investigation goes on. After this statement to the press, we will simply rely on the public record for the press to refer to. We're not going to make any additional statements. We will try to answer your questions, but I'm going to tell you, because this is an ongoing investigation, we're going to be very circumspect about information we provide. So please bear with us in that regard.
Jim, did they work at the scene? Did Loman work at the scene with the Danziger 7, the officers who are known as the Danziger 7, to cover up this crime, and did they fire on people who were essentially unarmed?
First of all, the factual basis speaks for itself. The factual basis references shootings, 2 separate shootings on the Danziger Bridge. One on the west side of the bridge, one on the east side occurring first. It does reference the fact that 2 individuals lost their lives on that day, one of whom was identified, the other has not been identified yet by name, and 4 individuals were seriously wounded. We're not going to go beyond that in getting into the facts of that shooting because that matter is still under investigation. The factual basis does make it very plain that after the shooting, Mr. Loman arrived at the scene, and it is thereafter that the elaborate cover-up began. And again, I urge you to look at the facts there in the factual basis.
Can you talk about target letters that's been on out so far to the officers?
We don't comment on or confirm or deny target letters. And that'll probably trigger me saying to you all, there's a lot of information out there, misinformation that I think the press is having navigated through. I wouldn't want to trade places with you all. Let me say this. That please just again, we're the government. We believe it's in our interest, in the interest of the case, the victim's justice, not to say too much about this case and not to put the circumstance of the investigation on the street. So we're not gonna comment on things like that.
I know you don't like to spin, but did the charge suggest and the factual basis suggest that this was more than just say that the fog of the storm, the dark days after the storm? This was something planned and thought out and illegal.
I'm not gonna venture that. I'm not gonna speculate about that at this time. This investigation is being conducted very, very aggressively and very fairly. We're not going to draw any conclusions we're going to comment on. It might prejudice any future cases or the investigation, so I'm not going to say that right now.
How long has Loman been cooperating?
Sorry?
How long has Loman been cooperating?
Not at liberty to say that. It's I think it's suffice it to say that he has executed a plea agreement, that he has begun cooperating with us, that he is committed to cooperating with us, and is obligated to cooperate with us, and he will continue to do that. Other than that, I'm not going to say.
Do we expect other members of the rank and file of the NOPD to go down to this?
I'm not going to say what we expect. I think that would be reaching. I think if this investigation is going to be fair, which it is, and it has been and will continue to be, we're going to do it by the numbers, and we're not going to speculate about anything that the investigation might produce. Say that the investigation is a very ongoing, it's very active, it's going to continue.
Well, you have said that it was a conspiracy and that others must have conspired with Loman, so you say it's not over. Do you intend to have other guilty verdicts in this case?
Once again, it is a matter of record that this was in fact conspiracy. Mr. Loman pled guilty to conspiring with a group of other NOPD officers. 2 sergeants were identified in the factual basis, and other individuals were referenced, although not by name. In terms of whether or not that portends additional charges, I'm not going to say.
Mr. Letten, what does this say about the New Orleans Police Department? This is a supervisor here. This is obviously, as you know, the factual basis. It's pretty broad allegations. What does it say about the agency?
You know, police officers, whether in New Orleans or any of the parishes or any cities, whether Chicago, Miami, New York, police officers are there to protect us and to protect the most vulnerable among us. Their jobs are to help individuals and protect us, not to hurt us. Sadly, we come across in the course of our work here, which is tough.